Hey, welcome. Today's topic is about the lies they tell when it comes to hair and beauty. Guys, okay, listen. I really wanted to talk about this because obviously some people might already know that hair texture doesn't determine your overall beauty. But on the internet, like always, people would argue that if your hair would be a specific texture, then it would be considered more attractive. And, like another woman said, a very popular one on YouTube, don't want to say her name, that rich men prefer straight hair. Oh, that could not be further from the truth because obviously that's not the case. As you look at this woman, obviously you can tell that beauty is definitely determined by your overall look. Okay? We can look at this picture and we can tell which one looks the most attractive, which one will probably steal your man. But, anyways, like always, people like to push certain narratives, and I'm done with it. And I'm sure that other women are also done with that. And we really want to help the next generations of girls to understand what they really have in the house, what they really can offer to the world. And they should not be limited by stupid ideologies that just don't make any sense and that don't even apply to human biology at all. First of all, what makes a woman super attractive is her ability to be healthy. Okay? Healthy. What is biologically important for a human being to be attracted to you is whether you can produce healthy offsprings, and you need to look like it. Beautiful girls can come in all races, all ethnicities, and it's all about how balanced your features are, how healthy you look, how healthy your hair is, whether you have a healthy looking body for a woman. Not necessarily compared to a man, but do you look like a woman that takes proper care of herself? Because you could have bleach blonde hair, but if it looks unhealthy, it doesn't matter what texture it is. It doesn't matter. It'll look ugly on itself, but obviously if you have pretty features, it balances itself out. But obviously this topic is about hair, so I'm going to keep it about hair. But I need y'all to understand that so many things play a role in how attractive you look. And your hair is like ice on the cake. However, your hair is a very important aspect when it comes to people literally valuing your health when they look at you. Yes, people judge you when they look at you. Yes. I know you don't want to hear that from me, but I'm going to tell you right now, people do judge you. As you look at these pretty girls right here, they look healthy. They look like they're on a healthy weight. The hair looks very taken care of. They look like, they put effort into their hair. You can also tell by the quality of their skin. Even though they're wearing makeup, it's very minimal. So when you look at their hair and their overall features, it makes sense. It makes sense. And because it makes sense biologically speaking, it screams beauty in a natural way. It screams a healthy woman capable of producing healthy offsprings that is good for the environment. Healthy offsprings that can survive in the environment. And that is what your beauty actually is about. It shows up on the outside, but it starts on the inside. And a lot of y'all have been convinced that no, it's about the texture, it's about the curl pattern. Lies. The instinct of every man will always win. It doesn't matter what kind of indoctrination that they had or women that they had growing up. It doesn't matter. What matters is Their instinct. And their instinct is always going to be a huge part on how they judge you, on how people view you. The instinct of a human being is always going to win. Do you look healthy? People try to push the ideologies like, oh yeah, it needs to have this specific color. Yeah, if it was this color, if it was black, if it was blonde, blonde, brunette. In reality, biologically speaking, it doesn't make any sense. Nobody cares about color. Unless you're talking about a specific environment where having a specific hair color benefits people. Like living in a colder climate where vitamin D, getting vitamin D is not, it's a little bit harder than in hotter climates. And speaking about men, okay, a lot of y'all believe that, especially black men are convinced that, they prefer women from other ethnicities. That is not necessarily true. Men overall, their instinct will always win. They would prefer a woman that looks healthy. The healthier a woman looks, the more attractive she's going to be considered. And talking about hair in this topic, that is literally what will determine her beauty. As you can look at this picture, obviously, the two women that are holding the hands of the man, they look very healthy. They look like they have a healthy BMI. They look like they have a healthy hormonal household. Both of their hair is growing healthy out of their scalp. There's nothing to hide. Which is exactly why, if you wear a wig, you do have to understand that it makes people question your health. Yes, it's like an instinct. A lot of people don't understand where their judgment comes from. Now, I'm gonna be here to tell you that it's an instinct. You look at a person, and when a person is hiding something underneath a wig or big clothing, but for this topic, hair, hiding underneath a wig, never wearing texture that grows out, that naturally looks like it could grow out of their scalp, you make it look like something is wrong. It doesn't matter how pretty the wig is, and it doesn't matter how good the wig looks on you, because it does. Oftentimes the wig, y'all, listen, the black girlies, y'all been rocking those wigs. Sometimes it looks hella good on you. I promise it really does. But that's not the point. The point is how other people view you is an instinct ingrained inside of us to analyze, is this person a healthy person? Can this person produce healthy offsprings? We're talking about the woman right now, but obviously this also applies to men. A man that is, for example, bald-headed at a young age and is heavily overweight and looks heavily disproportionate, it makes you question their ability to produce healthy offsprings with you, and it makes you question their masculinity as well. And the same thing applies to women. The reason why your beauty needs to be, for the most part, natural is because people judge you based upon that. It's just, you cannot beat that out of people. And no, do not get it in your head to try to convince the whole world that they should get rid of their instincts and they should just think the way you want them to think. That's ridiculous. Forget about that. That's not gonna happen. Beautiful hair is hair that looks healthy. People consider healthy looking hair the most beautiful. Is it well hydrated? Does it look like you have a proper diet? Or does it look like you have a bunch of deficiencies? Because it shows up in your hair. And it shows up in your hairline. For the girls with the straight hair, from European descent or Asian descent, for them, for example, how shiny is your hair? Can your hair reflect the sunlight? Does your hair grow past your shoulders? Because for them, biologically speaking, for their specific ecosystem, their hair requires to grow longer. It shows the ability for their hair to literally adapt to the environment, which is a colder climate. And their hair grows longer to create like a scarf effect to help with, trapping the heat. So for them, that is a rule that applies. So if a girl from European descent has hair that literally is damaged as hell, doesn't grow past her shoulders, right? It looks off. It does look off. Because it's like, why aren't your genetics doing their jobs? Why isn't your body, your scalp follicles doing their job properly? Why is your hair, looking unhealthy like that? Do you have a normal diet? Or do you starve yourself occasionally and you are probably iron deficient, you have probably iron deficiency or that kind of stuff? And all of those little details play a role in how other people view you. These girls, for example, they have beautiful hair. And you'll see this and you'll be like, oh, so it's about hair texture. Listen to me. No, it's not. Calm down. It is definitely not. The way you go about it is you focus on your individual hair. How healthy does your hair look? And obviously, if you're living in an environment that requires straighter hair or looser curl pattern, then obviously in that specific environment, your hair is going to be deemed more optimal for the environment. And because it's deemed more optimal, it looks more instinctively, it looks more, not more beautiful, but more, I guess, I'm looking for the right word. It applies better and it makes more sense for people to produce, procreate specific offsprings that match with the environment. But it is not to say that women that have a different hair texture that doesn't really match with the environment, that is necessarily ugly though. So when you hear people on the internet give their opinion about, oh, this hair is better, lies, it applies to people that obviously, instinctively, it makes sense for a specific environment, but it doesn't necessarily make the hair unattractive. Because your hair type doesn't apply to your environment. You understand what I mean? As you look at this beautiful woman over here, I see that with African ancestry, we have been doing different types of hairstyles. So it doesn't mean we have to literally copy our ancestors' hairstyles. We can come up with new ideas, okay? That is the next thing that I want to talk about. We can come up with new ideas to kind of not only adapt to the new environment that we're living in. If you're living in a colder climate, type 4 hair specifically is so versatile. You can literally get yourself some sister locks, braid it down. You can do so many things. You do not necessarily have to always copy your ancestors in order to enhance your beauty, right? And in order to fit a beauty standards that match the environment that you live in at the moment. Obviously, you adapt and you come up with new ideas. By the way, I have not been eating yet, so if you hear my stomach a bit making a few noises, I'm fasting, okay? So don't mind my stomach. But you can definitely come up with new ideas on how to enhance your beauty in a healthy way. It doesn't have to be boring. A lot of y'all just copy whatever your ancestors did, and it doesn't make any sense because time has changed. It's okay to change. It's okay to adapt a little bit. But adapting doesn't mean ruin your own hair, make your hairline recede all the way to back, and then put on a wig. That's not what it means. Okay? You can definitely adapt to your environment with your hair by maybe putting in a different hairstyle, doing high puffs, as you can see in these images, You don't have to be boring about it. A lot of you are boring about it. I see girls doing bantu knots all the time, and it's like that's very cute, and I love bantu knots, but you don't have to always do only what your ancestors did. You don't have to go all the way back to the roots of 1,000 years ago and copy what they did. You can definitely create new ideas. I'm sure a lot of y'all are super creative. Listen, especially my black girlies, y'all are so creative. And I noticed that when it comes to creativity with your hair, all of a sudden that goes out of the window. Y'all cannot come up with a simple new ideas on how to make your hair look polished, simple, and not damage your hair at the same time. Y'all need to put a lot of gel in your hair, and it's not necessarily weird ass products. If you look at these girls, for example, they look like they will steal your man. Not because of their character. I'm not talking about their character, but I'm talking about their ability for your man to fall for them. And it doesn't matter that, oh, they have a specific hair texture. Your hair texture is not what makes you unattractive. I promise you it don't. I've heard some, African girlies say that if you wear your natural hair, you're not welcome to my event or something like that. Don't bring your natural hair to my event. Oh my goodness, you sound dumb. First of all, you look like a catfish because you're not even wearing your real hair. And it's just like, do you know what beauty really means? Beauty isn't a reflection of your health. Literally, that's what it is. If you look into it a little bit deeper, you will understand that is what it is about. And you catfishing around and camouflaging yourself and putting on a bunch of things on top of your real hair, or maybe you're bald-headed underneath and your hairline has receded, it makes you look unattractive. And you're surprised why so many men are literally putting other women of other races on top. And you'll swear to God that it's only about, your skin color and your hair texture. No, it's about the health reflection of it. It's about the health reflection of it. I'm going to repeat it for a million times because some of you are literally a bit slow, sorry. Some of you are smart. I have seen the past years, I've seen some, black girls out there. They get the assignment. They have healthy hair. Some of you are growing it very long. You're twisting it up because you understand the nature of your hair. And that's why you discovered that, hey, I can grow it long. The girls with the sister locks, I've come across the black girlies with long sister locks, real hair, sister locks. And it's so beautiful to see. And they have a fit, healthy body. Everything aligns. It's like a beautiful balance. And it just makes so much sense. It's not a perfect example of listen, it's not about your hair texture. I promise you it is not. You'll swear up and down it is. It's because if my hair was a looser curl pattern, if my hair was straight, if my hair was curlier, if my hair... No, it's not about that. And whatever I'm saying right now doesn't only apply to black girls. It applies to any girl, honestly. I promise you, it's not about your hair texture or the color of your hair. Okay? It's not about that. And I talk about it so passionately because growing up myself, you get a little bit of indoctrination here and there. Obviously, there are some very insecure people in the industry out there. They are pushing certain agendas, and you already know they're super insecure. They need some superiority complex in order to feel good about themselves. And they push it in the kids' movies, and they push it in so many other social media platforms. They go out of their way to convince people a specific thing like that. Oh, it's about the color and it's about the texture of your hair. And if you have this hair, then you are not attractive. It's like, bro, what are you talking about? They're fooling you. They are literally fooling you. It's not about that. It's not about it. Put on. No, sorry. Take off that wig and take care of your real hair, even the extensions. Like, if you have to fake it until you make it, okay, I guess. But I'm not a big fan of that. Okay? I'm not a big fan of faking until you make it. I'm a big fan of start from within. Take proper care of yourself. Eat a healthy diet, a healthy balanced diet. Make sure that you get all your nutrients. Because how is your hair supposed to grow without the building blocks? Come on now. I hope I don't have to explain that. You need the building blocks actually in order for something to grow, obviously. And guys, I love you. I wish you the best, and I'm gonna keep it for this video. See you next time. Bye bye.